All right, questions?
Coach, what did you say to your team going into the fourth quarter?
I basically said that we'd tried every way known to man to lose it, and just for fun, let's try something different. Let's go ahead and do our job. Let's go ahead and make it look like Wednesday's practice, because we've got nothing to lose. Just do your job, do it as fast as you can, and then, then off we went, and that's the thing is, I think sometimes there's some anxiety going into a game. I don't think, me in particular, but our coaching staff, I don't think we had them prepared to play. Not very well. Sure didn't look to me, or we certainly missed a lot, because the middle of that game's about as bad as a team can play, and then on all sides of the ball. The end was good, which just does illustrate how good you can be if you play together, all three sides of the ball. So it was a great win. It was a great win. From what I understand, it's the biggest comeback in school history, and then it's in there. And then that's why he's here. He'll straighten you out on that. And then, and we did have contributions. We rose offense, defense, and special teams, to win that game. But the thing is we squandered an awful lot, and we did it early, and we did it in a bad fashion too. So I think, we got to go back and coach better this next week.
Coach, it seemed like in the third quarter, especially towards the end of the quarter, you guys are really going down the field a lot more and working more of that intermediate passing game. Was that just something that had been set up throughout the ball game, or was it just a matter of having some urgency?
In the third quarter, is that when we were still giving it back to them at every turn?
That's when it started to come back.
Oh, well, when we started to come back, it wasn't really that so much. A starting point was we quit giving it back to them, and one of the biggest keys to finishing a drive is don't give the ball back to the other guy. And so I think that was a critical step for us. The other thing, we went through a period in the third period where, some guys quit. And we're going to address that. We're going to look at that on film, because if a guy quits, that's coaching. Either you got to coach him different or you need a different guy. And so we got to adjust that. The biggest thing is I think we just played together more consistently. I think it was a series of overcorrections. I think we went out there, and I think we started the game pretty good. Okay, then we got up on them, 2 touchdowns. We felt like, well, this is going to be easy. And so then I think there's some of those guys out there that took their foot off the throttle and, thought they'd start some screwy victory lap or something stupid like that, which, can you imagine doing that against La Tech, a team that dumps players in the NFL every year and has upset team after team after team, one after the next, and is one of the most brutal teams on earth to play over history. But nevertheless, we did that. So then it was like, after we took the foot off the throttle, then I think we panicked. And it was team-wide. It wasn't a specific side of the ball. I think it was team-wide. And then we panicked. And then as we panicked, we tried to make too much happen, and then the things just blew up in our face. And then the fourth quarter, when we pulled it up and talked there, in the fourth quarter timeout, we settled down. We played fast for the full quarter, made up a lot of lost ground, and then I thought really played well that fourth quarter. If we even get a half of that, we're a lot better team. If we get 4 quarters of that shit, then we're a great team, But I'll tell you this, one thing that I thought was La Tech's, because they have a lot of experienced guys, anytime the roster's full of seniors, they got a bunch of seniors, they kind of expose some of our our immaturity. I mean, we're growing, we're getting there, but, you know, they kind of played a little bit more like guys that have played a little more football in several phases, I thought.
Matt? Coach, what can you say about the resiliency of a young quarterback like Will Rogers to have a tough second and third quarter, but to pick himself off the ground and have that kind of performance?
Well, I thought that was good. He had some help too, you know. I think in that third, I think he held the ball. Then I think our offensive line got pushed around. You know, I think their 3 would shove around our 5 and, you know, steal their lunch money. And then finally, after they didn't have enough lunch money, they got hungry, so they decided to play. And then, and then Will figured, well, I better hurry. And pick it up a little bit. And then, I don't know, we got in a rhythm, and that's the key. I mean, when you're playing with all 11, you get in a rhythm. If you play with 8 or 9, it's sporadic, you know, because you don't know, you know, what part's going to blow. And so then, you know, you get going, and then all of a sudden, you know, something bad happens. So
defensively, it seemed like late in the game you guys were put in some tough spots, held them to field goals to kind of stay in the game there, and then obviously get the stop on that last drive. What do you feel like your unit did late in the game to kind of maintain a presence and keep you guys in the game?
You know, I think they settled in and played, quit giving up the big play, to be honest with you. Prior to that, we'd get them to third down or something like that, and then give up a big explosive, you know. And so we stopped doing that. And both sides of the ball really did the same thing. And I've been in deals like this where, you know, one side just plays pathetic and the other side plays really good. I've never really been in one as clearly defined as this, where all 3 sides played simultaneously bad, almost having a contest who could play the worst, okay? And it was fiercely contested too. And then all 3 rise from the ashes together. And I mean all 3 of them. And because all 3 sides rose. It's not like all of a sudden, you know, we were struggling on one of the sides or anything. All 3 of them rose. So, you know, it was definitely some kind of team-wide mentality thing. And that's why I think it's coaching, and I think we got to get to them. And it's occasionally it's encouraged. And I think also, you know, we got to strike the fear of God at them. You ever quit in a football game, you know, you better learn how to sell big gulps or you know, figure out how to do the backstroke up and down the field, because that's what you're going to be doing.
Coach, you mentioned trying to force the action, do too much, and then at the same time they were to hurry in the fourth quarter. How did Will and the others strike that balance of hurrying without forcing?
That's a great question. I mean, yeah, if I knew the answer to that, I would have done it the first 3 quarters. I mean, he just settled in and did his job. Says, listen, I've tried to do too much. I've tried to show what a hot shot, big arm, extra clever quarterback I am. I'm just going to put my eyes in the right place and throw the ball where my eyes tell me. And then simultaneously, the receivers went to where they were supposed to be, looked when they were supposed to, and the offensive line blocked. I think there was more to it than just him, but I think he was a significant part of it. And, you know, and I think, you know, as bad as he played at times, he didn't really flinch or give in, you know. So I thought that was, you know, the composure to do that, I thought was very good.
Coach, after they took a 20-point lead is when Tulu had that 70-yard return and kind of sparked. How big of a spark in your mind was that for this team?
I thought it was huge, but the thing is that was a full unit deal. I mean, because there were some great blocks on that. I mean, great blocks to the point I'm a little curious who missed their block that he didn't score, you know. But no, I mean, but as it's going down the field, I saw a number of great key blocks. I mean, because Tulu's not going any further than he had earlier in the game if we're not blocking like we are on that play. And we blocked really well because I didn't see any of their guys really out of position. I mean, their coaches might have different ideas, but it looked to me like we executed the return really well, and there were a lot of blocks involved in that. There were a lot of unsung heroes on that, and Tulu gets the credit for the return, but there are a lot of unsung heroes in the middle of that deal.
Mike, what's morale with this team, like on the sideline and whatnot? Because obviously, you just pulled off the comeback and got a big win, but it was also a game you guys were favored by 23 such points. Are you guys obviously happy for the triumphant win? Is it kind of, we probably should beat them by a lot larger margin? We have plenty to work on, a hybrid in between.
I think right now everybody's very happy that they won. I think, and I'd like them to draw a lot of confidence and perspective on how well we can play when we play together. I also think there's a sense that we have a lot of work to do, and I hope there is that sense. And we as coaches got to make sure that they understand that, because it only took about 2 bad series for us to start to give in and act like somehow we're entitled to something. There's a point, because, they've been upsetting people for years, and I can actually rattle some of them off. But all of a sudden, we act like since we play in some big conference that they have to roll over for us, and they're not cooperating. And so, rather than punch it out of them and take it away, we think we're going to pout like we're getting screwed or something. Well, I know. No, and I don't know. We just got to keep pushing.
While you talk about taking the foot off the throttle and those things, were you seeing different looks? What were they doing defensively during that time?
Waiting for us to screw up primarily. The biggest thing that they did, and I have a lot of respect for them and their team and what they did and stuff like that, and they certainly did make some big plays at key times, and I thought they really had some composure out there. The biggest thing is that they did is they didn't in their package. They'd been a team that wanted to play 3 deep, 4 deep, and man. Okay, and they didn't play man. Then they traded out the man at the different phases of the field. They traded out the man for other things, and then you get into all these terms, and everybody calls something different. And the term guys drive me crazy. Everybody does the terms, say this, and if you don't call this coverage the same as the other guy, well, you're not as smart as that guy, even though you know all about what it is. But you just don't use the same term. It's very grade school that way, but suffice it, and I hate to even say, so they played 3 cloud, in Tampa is what they took the man out for. And all you got to do is just wait it out and do your thing and execute plays and not get behind the sticks. And I would say most importantly, not give it back to them. And then the penalties, we act like we're getting screwed on penalties. I don't know. I'll have to go look at the film, and I'll have to see if that's the case. But I guarantee you we're guilty of some of them. It even looked to me like we were. And so, we'll have to go back and look. But you literally I think you saw 3 games today. I thought you saw the first one where a confident team, probably artificially confident team, an artificially confident team went out there and started to do some good things. And then an experienced, well-coached team fought back and said, not so fast. We're gonna play as hard as we play as hard as we can today. Then they did. Okay, and then you saw one team decide they're going to try to figure out a way to give up, and then of course there was some challenging that went on in between there, dare I say threats, and then in the fourth quarter by process of elimination, it may not do any good, but we might as well try, which we did. and then we won. So you saw 3 games.
Go to Steve, and then we'll wrap it up with Jeff.
Coach, after the pick six, it just kind of felt like it took a lot of the air out of the stadium. What was your message to Will, and how do you kind of keep a young guy like that engaged when it seems like the game might be over?
Well, he had the guy over the middle wide open. Okay, then the other thing, don't force it in there, throw it out of bounds. Underthrew it to the running back. They caught it, and they scored a touchdown. Now, that's going to happen occasionally, but some of what went into that play was awfully symptomatic as a team, all sides of the ball, what we were doing at that point in the game. And then, of course, quarterback, reckless with the ball, then it's particularly costly.
What did you think about your pace of play as far as, the offense being able to get up to the line quick and run plays? It seemed like Tech was able to do that a few times to catch your defense out of position. Do you want your team to play faster? Do you think you like how the pace of play was, or something you think you guys will work on going?
Offensively, I thought early in the game we were a little slow. Early in the game, we were really slow. About the middle of the game, I thought we were embarrassingly lethargic, just shamelessly lethargic. Fourth quarter, I thought it was about like we want it to look, maybe a touch quicker, because we were working against the clock a little bit. It was maybe a touch quicker, a lot better offensively the fourth quarter. Defensively, that early part, it seemed pretty good. I don't know, but I don't know how much hurry up they were doing at that point. But they definitely got big plays on us with their tempo. They definitely got big plays on their tempo. And there's a point to where we either have to call timeout or we have to respond quicker. And then I also thought defensively, we were just like a bunch of slugs out there for the middle of the game. Well, then, the fourth quarter, it should be tough for anybody to move it against us. And it was,
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.